The following is the agenda for the regular Borough Council meeting of the Borough of Pompton Lakes, Mayor and Council.
We're starting.
I'm going to abstain. In the County of Passaic. The meeting will begin at 7:30 p.m. on August 13, 2025 in the municipal building, 25 Lenox Avenue, Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, 07442, consistent with the Open Public Meetings Act. The meeting will be open for public comments and shall be in accordance with terms and conditions of the borough's municipal code and bylaws.
Please stand for a flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bless this mayor and council as deliberate on the best of Pompton Lakes. Roll call, please. What's that? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read it. In conformance with the Open Public Meeting Law, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this meeting setting forth the time, date, place, and purpose of this regular meeting, notice posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, mailed to all requested and paid for same, and published in the Suburban Tribune. Roll call, please.
Mayor Sarah.
Here.
Council President Polidori.
Here.
Councilman Cruz.
Here.
Councilman Hinton.
Here.
Councilwoman Kent.
Here.
Councilman Quinn.
Here.
Councilman Bennett.
Here.
Also with us tonight is Borough Attorney David Rutenberg and Borough Administrator Michael Corelli.
Okay, thank you. I do have a couple updates I'd like to talk about. I'd like to start with, I would like to thank everybody that reached out on behalf of my mother's passing. I thank the council and the town employees for all the support I was shown during that difficult time for my family. My mom lived a good, strong life at 90, but that doesn't make her passing any easier. So I thank everyone that did reach out. Also want to talk about the notice that came out in the paper this week about DuPont. There is a reclamation settlement with the state of $875 million. I fought a couple years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, to try to get some of that money to be put back into Pompton Lakes, because the state takes that money and does other projects with that money in the state. It doesn't have to go back into the town where the incidents happened. They rejected my opinion, so the state is going to get $875 million. There is some talk that it would be used to offset some costs for the PFAS contamination throughout the town. The other part of that, everyone should be aware of, there is a $1.2 billion set aside for cleaning of DuPont property with a $475 million reserve to ensure that there's funds for the cleanup. This is a joint project again between the EPA and DEP. I'm sure we'll hear more about it, but that's all I have right now. The article did mention that money is for 4 sites in the state of New Jersey, not just Pompton Lakes. We don't know how much we're getting here in Pompton Lakes yet. We don't know how the cleaning is going to go yet in Pompton Lakes. That hasn't been discussed, but it is important for, what we've been dealing with for so many years here to move forward with that. I'm not happy about the reclamation part of that. Even if it was 1% and they told me we're going to do some work in Pompton Lakes to make things better, that would make me feel better, but they just don't seem to do that. So that's unfortunately what it is. And the last thing I have, I would like to thank our police, fire, OEM, CERT, ambulance department, our surrounding towns, and search and rescue that helped in the search of a lost child in the woods on Saturday and Sunday. Gratefully, the child was found unharmed and reunited with his family. Although the child was not from Pompton Lakes, all these agencies jumped into action very quickly, and it came out with a great outcome. We forget how important our first responders are until we need them. And when we need them on a Saturday night, and someone's lost in the woods, there was tons of people there, just like the last time that this happened. And they found the child the next day, which is good help for everybody. Surrounding towns came to help. Search and rescue out of West Milford, they do an outstanding job. They climb through those woods and mountains, doing whatever they can. So it's a big thank you to all of them. Okay. Could I have a motion to open the meeting for public comments? Motion. Councilman Bennett, and who's that? Council President Polidori, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Anyone from the public like to address? Please step up.
Hello, Lauren Bennett for Sunset Road. I'm here this evening on behalf of Flood Advisory Board. 2 other board members are with me also. We have 5 minutes, so I'll get right to it. We have not had a council person present at our meetings since April. That's not okay. We know the rules. We know the requirements. Communication through liaison. How do we do that when we don't have a liaison who shows up to meetings? When we don't have communication? When I send emails and I don't get responses? I understand that Councilwoman Keelberg stepping down rather abruptly, there was not a whole lot of notice, and I totally appreciate, she worked very hard for us. Family comes first. So, but she stepped down very quickly. There had to be a little bit of a scramble, I get that. But it's August now. We're in hurricane season. The federal government is doing things we don't understand with FEMA. We have projects that we're trying to move forward. We have an RFP out for drone survey work. I need a council person who can attend meetings. I was here in June. I introduced myself to Councilman Quinn. I gave him the times and the dates of our meetings. I stressed the importance of a council person present at the meetings. I reached out via email. In July, I got a text from my husband, not through our official channels, but from my husband, saying your council liaison is looking to contact you. Okay, I thought maybe I got a misspelling in the email address. Verified the spelling of the email address. Forwarded all of the information. Reached out again. It is so important. If you can't make it to the next meeting, please let us know so we can arrange for coverage. I know there are other council members who have experience with our board, who are free that fourth Thursday, who would be willing to step in and help us out. It's August now. I got 4 months left in this year to have someone start from scratch who has not been to a single one of our meetings. I need a council person present. I need someone who can help the board the way a liaison is supposed to. I need someone who can carry information back to the governing body. And I need someone who is free that fourth Thursday of the month to attend our meetings. I understand if it's a schedule issue. I get that. But I need the communication back. I won't be there. Can you arrange for someone else? Now, in the past, we have had excellent respect from our liaisons that they have said, I can't make it to the meeting. I'm asking so-and-so to cover. And that always worked out really, really well. It was always greatly appreciated by the board. If that can't happen, if I at least know that my liaison is not going to be attending my meetings, I will reach out to a council person separately myself and request coverage if I have to. I don't think I should have to do that. I think that the liaison should make those arrangements, but I am willing to do as much as I have to and whatever I have to have a councilman regularly at the meetings, and I need some consistency here. So if it's not working, if for whatever reason Councilman Quinn is unable to attend our meetings and unable to fulfill that role for the Flood Advisory Board, then I am asking for the rest of this calendar year, can we please get coverage, get someone assigned who can be there for us. I know Councilwoman Kent was a longtime Flood Advisory Board member, so I'm pretty sure that she probably has that fourth Thursday free still. And she has the background, so there's not going to be a learning curve. If you don't want to, or for whatever reason that doesn't work, we need somebody who can do this, please. It's very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Please step up. Oh. You guys can fight it out.
I'm slow.
Helene Zablocki, 6 Butler Street. Maria, at yesterday's League of Women Voters meeting, you asked me about something I didn't say at a meeting you didn't attend. Even listening to a video of the meeting wouldn't change the words I said. Mr. Serra does the same thing with my words. Maybe you should sit farther away from him.
Okay, could you focus your conversation on me?
The last thing this governing body needs is more distorted communication. All of you make a mockery of the word transparent. Ms. Polidori, you tried to invalidate 3 mail-in ballots in 2023. Unless you were standing guard at the drop box, somebody was viewing the security camera videos and reporting back to you. In 2023, Captain Sishan was second in command, but he didn't have the authority to view the security cameras. Clark and Lieutenant Rodriguez did. And 2 of the 3 ballots belonged to members of Captain Sishan's family. Are you kidding? Mr. Serra, when you were asked what comes next regarding appointing a police chief, you said, with a chuckle, well, it's complicated. Well, it's not. All of you knew that the town had already asked the Civil Service Commission for a waiver for Rodriguez so he wouldn't have to take a test and he wouldn't have any competition. When was the last time a chief's test was waived? The truth can be messy. It can be hard, but it's never complicated. There must be something I'm missing about the years-long protection of not 1, but 2 officers who pervert the very idea of protecting the public. You are all complicit in this, and we haven't even talked about money, but we will.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address?
Good evening, George Popov, 1104 Colfax Avenue, Pompton Lakes. Here again on my every council meeting, looking for an update on what's happening in the ongoing washout and destruction of my property from a pipe that's been destroyed for 16 years. And apparently there's some movement in it as far as contracts being issued, but I don't want to misquote it, but it's a comment that we have a definite time, a definite schedule with a tentative time to start. Apparently it's September 2nd. I don't know why or what that verbiage, it wasn't mine to pick. But how can you have a definite schedule? That means it's going to go on for 6 weeks at a minimum, maybe more. They don't know. You're pursuing something that 11 years ago was identified as an impossibility. At the end, if you find that, the town, as a taxpayer, I'm upset with, will lose about $60,000 to that effort. Regardless of that, I want to see something a little more concrete, and hopefully I can meet with Mr. Corelli over the next couple of weeks to get my issues addressed, the damage, and to stop it. All right? I don't know how you're going to work out with this pipe running over 100 yards through Colfax Avenue and how you make out, but I'm not an engineer, so I can't comment on that. I think we're really exposed. Somebody should objectively look at it as a taxpayer. But Mr. Serra, I would appreciate if this keeps moving on, because I don't want to go through another winter of fall of heavy rains, because my property's dangerous now and it's not going to improve. It doesn't heal itself. I'm sure you realize that. I wouldn't insult your intelligence. All right, so, let's get moving on this. 16 years, people. I just can't believe it's gone on this long. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Please step up.
I want to thank everybody, and I'm sorry for your loss. I'm here on the concerns for the
Just
Pompton
need your name
Lake.
and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
I know, it's been a while. 59 White Way in Pompton Lake.
And name?
Helen Martins, I said. Okay. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here on the behalf of the Pompton Lakes Community Advisory Group. We had spoken with the residents since the press release went out about the $2 billion settlement between the state of New Jersey and DuPont. We are here to suggest the following remedies, all of which we have discussed and reviewed countless times over the years at public meetings regarding the contamination since the announcement of the plume in June of 2008. Here are our concerns. 1, clean up the soil and groundwater contamination on our sites, and the contaminated neighborhood must be to residential standards and not industrial standards. 2, opportunity for new residents to obtain vapor intrusion systems and yearly testing of these systems. If they so choose, they should be given the opportunity of having an independent contractor test and install the systems as per the protocol set in motion more than a decade ago. 3, an alternative power source, mobile generator, and the cost to run them moving forward to be installed on residents' homes to ensure the vapor mitigation systems can remain running during the electrical power loss due to extreme weather conditions or for any other reason. It is imperative that the system remains functioning at all times. 4, an additional vapor testing within Pompton Lakes to assess the current extent of the contamination and where it may have traveled. We are concerned that the plume may have grown. As we know, the contaminants have migrated into Wayne. As of such, the plume map would have to be redrawn. Drinking water should also be tested on a regular basis, especially as the state moves forward with work on the remediation within the plume. There needs to be a regular, continual monitoring of the air quality in the plume moving forward. The industry standard of such testing is quarterly, not annually. And 7, the opportunity should be given to those that would like to move out of the plume, offering them fair market value for their homes. 8 is for plume residents that want to remain, they should be offered a reduced property rate, tax rate. The borough has already offered a break to DuPont to pay less for their property because the land is contaminated, even though the company was the party that caused the contamination. Residents should not be treated as any less than the polluter, as they are innocent parties in all of this. Since there will now be funding to cover this kind of cost, though, in the settlement, it makes sense to offer residents the same consideration that the town already offers the polluter. And then we say, we believe that the plume residents should be included in the distribution of funds collected from the polluter by the state through this landmark settlement as per the concern listed above. We are providing a printed copy of our concern for the borough, and we request that this is passed or placed into the record for tonight's meeting. I thank you for your time and your considerations.
Thank you. Kath, just take that. You can take that. Anybody else from the public? Please step.
Hi, how are you? My name is Ruth Pais. I live in 228 Skylar Avenue. I wanted to read a thank you letter. And it says, if it wasn't for the active in regards of DuPont and everything that having happened, if it wasn't for the active residents from the Pompton Lakes Community Advisory Group, PLREI, CCPL, the State of New Jersey Settlement for Cleanup, NRD, and punitive damages with DuPont would have not been possible. The active residents went to former Attorney General Gruhl of the State of New Jersey for assistance after they were turned down by Passaic County. We would not take no for answer. We knew we needed help to get the Pompton Lakes DuPont site cleaned up. We can't thank New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, Attorney General Plunkin, and New Jersey DEP Commissioner Tourette enough for the due diligence of the state's lawsuit against DuPont Chemers for the cleanup of a Pompton Lake site and the 3 other NJ DuPont sites. A special thank you to our leadership team members, former council members Lisa Riggiola and Mikan, environmentalist Dana Patterson, Robert Spiegel, Louis Gibbs, Bill Wolf, Jeff Tittle, Julie Sommer, and Elliot Ruga, Highlands Coalition, Passaic River Coalition, and Doctors Ested and Horowitz, Environmental Department of Ramapo College. Engineers, Rich Chapin, Rachel Farnham, PLREI's leaders, Jefferson Harman La Sala, Regina Cisco, PLGAG, CCPL, members Cheryl Rubino, Helen Martins, Ruth Pais, George Popov, and all other active residents that truly believe in our good fight for a cleaner and healthier environment in Pompton Lakes. The future now looks brighter. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to speak?
Ann Castanelli, 5 Lambert Street. Real quick, I just want to thank Mike Shacatano. I didn't come because I knew he was going to be here. I was almost hoping he wasn't and he was going to be surprised. But he has been such a help in, I asked him to make a banner for me for the Pompton Day. Anything I asked him, he was just so accommodating and polite and considerate, and I think we need to remember to always come up and say good things about people, along with sometimes the bad. So that's all. Just want it on the record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public like to address?
Thank you.
Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the
I
public?
should say one more thing.
Real quick. Is this the bad part?
I want to say that I am also in support of what these ladies have spoken of with all of the cleanup. That's very important.
I'm sorry, did I have a motion? I don't know if I heard this. Council President Polidori, second. Councilman Bennett, all in favor? Aye. Against? Okay, Ms. Bennett, I understand completely what you're saying. I will reach out to Councilman Quinn, and if you have an issue in any shape or form and you can't make the meeting, you know, first of all, of course, reach out to the Flood Advisory Board, but your council president or myself could easily sub in to do that. That's what we're here for. So just let us know if you can't make a meeting, and we'll find someone to do that. You know, I can say this, the Flood Advisory Board, like a lot of our boards, puts a lot of time and energy into what they do, and they just want to get their voice heard. So that's really what it's about. The only thing I'm going to suggest to you is maybe you let them know if you can't make it, and if you can't make it, you let one of us know, and one of us will try to make it in your place. Is that okay?
That would be fine.
Good, okay. Mr. Blocky, thank you for your comments. Mr. Popoff, I have an email that was sent out to the council just yesterday going over the dates, and we're all familiar with the September 2nd date. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, we were talking about 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks of work is what they're saying to have it finished for the street side of it. The engineers come up with the plan. We are not engineers here, you are not an engineer, that's why they come up with the plan. It's a plan that they believe will work. Once we get the work done on the street, we will move to yours and your neighbor's property and repair and put that back together. Mike, do you want to add anything to that?
Just that I've reached out to the property owners to schedule a meeting to talk about the restoration of their properties now rather than wait until the project's done. So thank you.
The next three, except for Ms. Tassinelli, I'm going to group together. Look, you guys have been coming a very long time, and I respect the fact that you put your time and your energy into doing this. And you know I've been part of this for a very long time. And some of the things I support in what you're bringing up, you know, and like I said in the beginning of my meeting, I don't understand why we as a town don't get some of that reclamation money. We should be part of that. There should be some type of setup within, because the problem, what happens is that money goes to the governor's office. The governor's office has a committee that decides where the money is spent. Maybe they'll pick us, but I doubt it. It'll go to some bigger communities. It might even go to sand restoration on a beach, or it could go to anything like that. So I support that. The other things you brought up, I'm going to pass on to the DEP and the EPA. But we've been through this before. You have all been through this before. That they don't want to recognize some of those things you brought up. I will gladly, I'm going to meet with them at some point. I will again pass that on, just so everybody understands. There is no plan in place yet for any cleanup, for anything, for off and on site. And by the way, we haven't heard from Comores on this, right? So we don't even know where Comores stands on the newsletter that went out. The most I can take out of it is I feel a little confident that there's money put aside to make this work. Is it enough money? I don't know, and that's always been our concern from the very beginning, that when they spun off the next company, that there was gonna be enough funding to make sure the cleaning happened. Watchdog groups in the state, in New Jersey, said there is, and they will be able to go after them. And the people you mentioned at the state level brought that up at the meetings we've had, that we will go after this group if they somehow try to say we don't have any more money. So I'll keep you posted. Thank you for bringing the information. I will bring it at the next meeting.
How proactive are you gonna be? How proactive are you gonna be? What is this? It sounds like, maybe I'll attend a meeting someday.
No, it's not about attending a meeting. I have no say on this. This is the DEP and the EPA. I have no say on it.
About it.
Okay.
Get out and find out who you're gonna meet with.
There's no meeting set up yet, so I will when I do. Ms. Tassinelli, thank you for the nice statements you made about Mike. Mike's always been a grand help in what we do here. Okay. Where are we? Motion to approve the following minutes: regular meeting minutes, July 16th, 2025, closed session meeting minutes, July 16th, 2025. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Councilman Bennett?
Second.
Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Authorizing the payments of bills in the amount listed and as listed below. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Councilman Bennett? Need a second?
Second.
Councilman Hinton? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Does anybody need anything from the consent agenda removed?
Yeah, I have a
Yes.
couple. Hold on.
267, 268, and 269.
267,
for me.
268. Did you hear that, Kath?
267 is for me as well.
Okay.
268.
Anybody else while we're waiting?
Oh, and 281.
281.
281?
Yeah,
Yes.
281, yes.
283, please.
283.
78, 79, 80.
78, 79, and 80, supposed to. All right, anybody else? Okay, Kath, the ones that we did not mention.
Okay. Whereas the mayor and borough council of the borough of Pompton Lakes has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions, and whereas the mayor and borough council of the borough of Pompton Lakes does desire to remove resolutions for individual action from that agenda, now therefore be it resolved that the following resolutions on the consent agenda are hereby approved: 25-262 through 25-284, and removing 25-267, 25-268, 25-269, 25-278, 25-279, 25-280, 25-281, and 25-283 for separate action.
Okay, can I have a motion for the ones that are approved?
Motion.
Councilman Denning, Council President Polidori, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, 267.
25-267, amend contract with Mind's Eye Technologies for borough security camera installation project.
I forgot who asked, but what was your question, whoever it was?
I had one, and also Bobby.
Why don't you go ahead and read yours? I'm just.
I was just looking at the 4 change orders, why we needed so many change orders, and especially change order number 3, at the boat dock for the police boat. They barely ever use that dock. I don't even know why it's necessary. Every time they launch the boat, they launch it at Lakeside. I think that was an expense that was taxpayers are suffering on, and now we're gonna put cameras there on a dock they don't use, from what I understand, because the kids from the middle school hang out on the dock.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they store the boat there. That's where they store
No,
it.
they store the boat in the building there. You know,
Okay.
If I may, this change order, specifically change order number 3, initially we had proposed, and the police department was looking at putting a camera at the police boat launch behind the Board of Ed building. We found out that the JCP&L connections weren't going to work for that site, so this change order is actually to move that camera to another site. So there will not be a camera at the boat
Okay.
launch.
okay, good. Answers my question. Thank
Bobby,
you.
you have a question?
Yeah, that was answered by Councilman Hinton.
All right, so we're gonna go through them all, and then we'll vote on them at one group. So 25-268.
Okay, 25268, releasing touring car wash of Pompton Lakes LLC, block 2905, lot 11.0504-105, Hamburg Turnpike for performance guarantee.
That was you two again?
That was me as well. If you could just provide some background as to what that is, obviously.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna defer to Dave, just to give a legal.
So this is, the borough engineer this is a project, they do a security guarantee with us, which is to ensure that everything's done according to our specifications. The borough engineer has gone through, we actually went through a couple rounds of their operations manual. The borough engineer is satisfied with the changes, they've made all the changes and accommodated all his requests. And so, that they having performed as asked, this is the time when we would release their security guarantee because they've done everything we've asked of them.
So this is the money they put down in the beginning?
Yeah, this is their money to begin with.
Oh, you're talking about 25268?
I am.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the touring car wash.
Okay, now they said found that the borough never adopted the required traffic code ordinance? Why was that never adopted?
That was going back to last year whereas Council President Polidori brought forth that there was signage posted at the car wash, and I forget the specifics, that you can't make a left-hand
Can't make a left-hand turn.
If out of the car wash during a certain period of
4
time,
to
I think
6,
4
I think
to
it is.
6
We had it
o'clock.
backwards.
And we revised it.
You can't pull into the car wash.
We had it written backwards, it needed
Yeah.
to be
Yes,
adjusted.
so we had to amend the ordinance to satisfy this, to be able to release their security guarantee.
Okay.
And that was one of the conditions that our engineer looked at, but everything has been
Do
satisfied.
people seem to be obeying the signage, or,
Yep, no complaints from the police department that I'm aware of
okay,
at this time.
thank you.
Okay, 25269.
25269, amend contract with H2M Associates Incorporated for professional borough affordable housing planner services for the borough of Pompton Lakes.
What was one of you guys?
I think this one was an adjustment to the anticipated cost, was at 10,000. We're now amending it now to 50?
That's correct. So in the beginning of the year, the state came out with this new affordable housing criteria and the housing obligations. Our planner, H2M Associates, had provided us an initial proposal of about $10,000, not knowing specifically where we were going to be throughout this process, how long it would take, how much professional input is needed, how many meetings are needed. So what we found throughout the whole process was that, unfortunately, this state law prescribed to us has cost us more professional services fees. And in turn, we do need to amend our contract with our planner to fund those activities that have been completed.
Are we comfortable with the itemized list that we looked at, what they're billing us, and we're comfortable with how they're billing us?
Well, that would be the administrator's job to look it over.
Oh, but the bills list, when it's done, doesn't it go?
It was signed, that was signed, so they were
So,
signed.
well, I guess I'm referring to both, whoever signs the bill, our borough administrator, are both comfortable in the list of items they put down as far as their expenses. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a big jump.
I
We're
will-
talking about $10,000 up to $50,000. So I just want to make sure, because I don't want this coming up later on, that we voted, we found there's some discrepancies in the billing.
No, invoices will be filed and, we'll review the time and the effort put in.
That was it.
I will only say that we've seen this in a number of our towns. With the COA regulations, it was a pretty significant change, and it's been a moving target.
Right, the state has been changing.
Over the course of the past several months, so.
Okay, we're gonna group 278, 279, and 280 together, but if you read the first one, Kathy, 278.
Okay, 25278, approving a chapter 159 PL 1948 resolution pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-87, providing for the insertion of items of revenue in a 2025 budget for fiscal year 2019 Passaic County Open Space, Farmland, and Historic Prevention Trust Fund for the Willow Field Improvements Project. 25270.
You don't have to read them all, they're all the same, so.
No, they're not.
Well, they're a little different, but,
They're a little.
yeah, go ahead, go on.
Okay, approving a Chapter 159 PL 1948 resolution pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-87, providing for the insertion of items of revenue in the 2025 budget for fiscal year 2020, Passaic County Open Space Farmland and Historic Preservation Trust Fund for the Willow Field Improvements Project. And 25-280, approving a Chapter 159 PL 1948 resolution pursuant to NJSA 40A, Fund 4-87, providing for the insertion of items of revenue in the 2025 budget for fiscal year 2022, Passaic County Open Space Farmland and Historic Preservation Trust Fund for the Willow Field Improvements Project.
So you had questions?
No, yeah, can you just bring us up to speed on what that is?
Sure, so these three resolutions before you are just budgetary transactions. Now that we are awarding the bid, or the bid award is before you for the Willow Field Improvements Project, in order to award the bid, we need adequate funding to do so. So what you see a lot of times with grants is that we have all these grants floating out there, and when the project is ready to be facilitated or awarded, we have to take the grant funding into our current year fiscal budget to be able to expend on that grant. So these three transactions set up the appropriations for the grant funding, and in turn allows us to award the bid for the project.
And just quickly, just on the same note with that resolution, I see that the playground equipment is listed here. Are we still doing the playground? Because I thought we were not, but it's listed here in the, I guess, the rebid.
And I could cover that. I was going to cover the bid award resolution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that was it. Are we good? Okay, 25-281.
25-281, award bid to Damage Tree Service Company Incorporated for Willow Field Improvements Project.
And that's me, that's me, Mayor, that was that question that I just posed to you. So that was it, sorry, all right.
25-283.
25-283, authorized auction of borough surplus property.
Who was that one?
That was me.
You?
I just want to make sure that was the single property we spoke of, I think, last month. There was confusion on
Was that the
ownership at one
property
point.
that we thought we owned and we don't own?
No.
This is surplus equipment.
Yeah, this is-
Oh, this is different?
Oh, so it's not
Not
real
property,
estate?
no.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
It's just equipment.
All right.
Okay,
Wait, I'm sorry.
283.
You're gonna go through
Yeah.
281?
Yeah, I was-
Yeah, yeah.
No, I was.
No, no.
go ahead.
Okay.
Circling back.
Thank you. So yes, before you tonight is a bid award for the Willow Field Improvements Project. If you recall, this is the third rebid for the project. The first bid came in over budget. The second bid, the bidder was disqualified due to changes that couldn't be made after the fact. And the third bid has come in. The borough engineer and I received bids on August 5th. We did receive three bidders. And we do have a bid award that is both responsible and responsive and under budget. So I did include a spreadsheet in your packet, just breaking down what the amount of available funding is, what grants we have, the designation of the open space funding that we designated earlier this year, and again, what the total base bid price is. And what you'll see is that we're under budget by $138,000. To answer Councilman Cruz's point, the playground was bid out as an alternate, and we are recommending to not award that alternate bid right now. We'd like to have extra funding in the case that change orders come up during the course of the project. And then the recommendation would be at the end of the project, if we were to be interested in the playground and/or the bleachers or both, because we had two alternates, that we could either fund those through any leftover funding, we could seek grants for those projects, or we could reach out to our nonprofit groups to collaborate in some way.
yeah, so we're pulling those two out, but we're hoping that we can get them back in if possible.
Okay.
Any questions about that?
I just,
Go ahead.
Michael, I just wonder, can you just verify whether or not the irrigation system is covered in their proposal? That, I know that's a big question with a lot of the environmental groups,
So there is irrigation, yes.
for the trees.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Irrigation for the fields, not irrigation for the trees,
There's irrigation for the fields, yes.
not for the
The
trees.
trees,
Yes.
both,
Yes, I'm mistaken. You said,
the trees.
okay, no, fields.
Yeah, there's not normally irrigation put in for
Right.
trees.
No, there's never irrigation really for the trees.
Right.
But that's the other point I want to bring up in conversations with DPW. We're talking, the last time, removing 120 trees, of which the mayor said we were going to do one for one. And then I saw in the trend, it only said 111 trees. I don't know where the 9 trees went, but I ain't going to question that. But the aspect of it is, talking to DPW, they don't have the equipment for watering trees. I don't think they have the manpower for watering trees. Now, the positive thing here is that Downs Tree Service has got the contract. Whether or not in that contract, they're gonna maintain, whether you're doing that or not, the trees, watering them for a year. They need a good year of watering or more.
And the borough engineer and I did talk about that. We were thinking about including some sort of provision in the contract that's issued to them to have some sort of maintenance of watering. We put in the same thing when we put in native plants along Haraldson Place, that the contractor, at least for a certain period of time, had to come and water those. So it's
A
not
very
uncommon.
short period of time.
Yeah, but this large scale of a project, we would, suggest that, so.
And that project on Haraldson Place is in severe disrepair. I was visiting it the other day.
We could take a look.
We'll get that.
Fences are down,
We'll get that next.
the water
Let's do
bags
this
are
first.
empty.
You can do that in your report.
Oh, I can? I
What?
can add that to my report?
If you'd like,
Oh, thank
or
you.
include before.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's all of them. Kath, if you want to go back and read the ones, and then we'll vote on that.
Okay, resolution 25-267, amends contract.
She has to read them all? Or
No, oh,
Just the
no,
number.
you can just read them by number,
Just
Ken.
go by number.
Okay, 25-267.
I'm gonna group them all together, so read them all.
25-268, 25-269, 25-278, 25-279, 25-280, 25-281, and 25-283.
Okay, can I have a motion? Motion. Council, who's that over here? Council President Polidori, Councilman Bennett. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Roll, you need a roll call on this?
Roll call.
Yeah,
Roll
roll
call,
call, please.
Yes. Councilman Hinton.
Hinton? Yes.
Councilwoman Kent.
Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori.
Yes.
Councilman Quinn.
Yes.
Councilman Bennett.
Yes.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Okay, ordinances, when you're ready.
Okay, ordinance 2523. An ordinance to vacate an unnamed 50-foot right-of-way located between Schuyler and Grant Avenues in the borough of Pompton Lakes and transferring any remaining interest of the borough in the right-of-way to Joseph Sarno and Eileen Sarno.
Motion to approve ordinance 25-23 for introduction.
Motion. Second.
Councilman Bennett, Councilman Cruz.
Discussion.
Any discussion? Go ahead.
I just always like general discussion on first readings.
Thank you. So this ordinance is for a property on 26 Schuyler Ave, what we call the triangle parcel that abuts the lake and Lakeside Ave. So the borough has found that there is a public interest in a former paper street on the site, and the property owner has approached us, is interested in vacating that public interest, which would in turn give them a little more zoning flexibility with their property. So again, the borough has negotiated with the property owner, and the ordinance is before you tonight.
Okay. Roll call, please. Yep.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kent.
Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori.
Yes.
Councilman Quinn.
Yes.
Councilman Bennett.
Yes.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Ordinance 2524. An ordinance to establish new chapter 31 in the code of the Borough of Pompton Lakes entitled Restricted Areas and restricting portions of building where municipal operations are conducted limited to authorized employees only to protect and safeguard public records containing personally identifiable information.
Motion to approve ordinance 25-24 for introduction.
Motion.
Councilman Denon, Council President Polidori. Discussion, just want to explain that, Mike?
Thank you. So this ordinance is handed down to us by our insurer, our municipal joint insurance fund provider. You're going to see most municipalities adopting this model, and this really is in response to what's called a First Amendment audit, in which individuals, often using cameras or recording devices, try to enter public buildings and try to enter private offices. So this just memorializes that these offices are, again, for employees and personnel, and that we are able to affix the proper signage, and it just codifies that these areas are private and aren't open for invitation to the public. It really is just the best practice from our insurance company that was given to us.
Sets up boundaries.
So I got a question. This is due to new technology of cell phones and people taking pictures of things or recording things. Is that why this is really coming about?
Yeah, in a way.
I mean, because you have down here the public library, the civic center, the recycling center. I mean, that's just examples of public places.
That's correct. And that's an example of a public place where a private office may exist, right? It's not saying that these public buildings are prohibited from the public from entering them, but rather the private offices within those public buildings are exempt from the public.
So if people are taking pictures at the recycling center, they could be arrested?
No.
No, if residents are trying to enter the private office in the recycling center, that would be in violation of the ordinance, as it is right now. But this just codifies a best practice for us.
Any other questions?
Just for the borough attorney, so do you feel we're in compliance right now, just to speak to PII, which is obviously, in addition to many other frameworks that are out there to secure information, especially employee information, are we in compliance? Are we good on that front regarding cybersecurity side? And obviously, any information that's obviously holding user social security numbers, things of that nature. I don't remember an audit ever being done to verify or validate that.
So the JIF puts out the cybersecurity checklist every year.
Yep.
There's 3 tiers, and the first tier is kind of basic criteria that you have to meet. The third tier really gets into penetration testing and stuff like that, and we do meet that. We're one of maybe half of the municipalities in our JIF that have all 3 tiers compliant. So we are ahead of the curve in that respect.
Have they provided any, a SOC 2 report on, us passing the validation controls?
I could check into it.
Check into that.
Yeah.
So for council members, so a SOC 2 report basically validates that you've done everything you can to secure all the information that you store internally in all your systems. And that's a way to validate and also provide trust to your customers, your patients, whoever that may be, that you're doing all you can to protect that information. And that is something to government, private business, and public. And it's very important.
All right, so Mike, we can look into that.
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Motion.
I did the motions, I thought, right? Council President and Council Bennett?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, this
I'm
was.
sorry, you did. Councilman Hinton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kent,
Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori,
Yes.
Councilman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Benning,
Yes.
and Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2525. An ordinance amending Chapter 7 of the Municipal Code of the Borough of Pompton Lakes and adding parking restrictions on the east side of Lambert Street.
Motion to approve ordinance 25-25 for introduction.
Motion.
Council President Polidori, Councilman Bennett.
Discussion.
Discussion, go ahead, you just want to explain, that's the Lambert Street.
Thank you, Mayor. So after talking to the ordinance committee of the governing body and workshopping at the last council meeting, the recommendation is to have no parking on the east side of Lambert Street from the intersection of Lakeside Ave to the dead end at the brook, a very small section of Lambert Street. This will go in effect upon publication at the September 10th council meeting, and following tonight's introduction, the police department will be delivering letters to all the applicable residents, just notifying them of the upcoming public hearing for the ordinance.
Okay. Any questions?
There will be a public hearing, or unless there's a question? Or
There will at our next meeting.
The next
There
meeting will
will.
be open,
Okay.
yes.
For final adoption of the.
Oh,
ordinance.
okay.
The standard public.
Standard, okay,
Yep.
thank you. Mhm.
Roll call, please.
Okay, Councilman Hinton,
This is Lambert Street?
Yes.
Correct.
Well, I'd say yes, okay.
Councilwoman Kent,
Definitely gonna say yes. Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori,
Yes.
Councilman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Benning,
Yes.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Ordinance 2526. Ordinance 2526, an ordinance correcting the terminology used for sworn officers in the Borough Code.
Motion to approve ordinance 25-26 for introduction.
Motion.
Councilman Bennett.
Second.
Councilman Hinton. Discussion. This is what we talked about at the last meeting with the chief.
Thank you, Mayor. So this ordinance codifies in that we're going to be changing our official titles of all of our police officers from patrolman to police officer, which our Captain Rodriguez reiterated at the last council meeting. Again, brings it up to modern standards and in compliance with the Civil Service Commission regulations. So again, this will be memorialized at the September 10th council meeting and put into effect with our police department.
Okay, roll call?
Councilman Hinton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kent,
Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori,
Yes.
Councilman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Bennett,
Yes.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Okay, final adoption ordinances?
Okay, final adoption. Ordinance 2521, an ordinance amending Chapter 19, Building and Construction of the revised general ordinances Borough of Pompton Lakes and amending the fee for continued certificates of occupancy.
Before we get open to the public, just maybe give a quick update on what that means.
Thank you, Mayor. So following the Finance Committee looking at this and part of the upcoming budget process, and at the recommendation of our construction official, this ordinance amends the fee for certificates of continued occupancy, specifically for residential properties, from $75 for the certificate to $90. And again, this brings us up to current standards with other towns where you'll see between $100 to $200 for a set fee. So we're still well below the average that we're seeing in other towns.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion to open the meeting for public comments on ordinance 25-21.
Motion.
Council President Polidori.
Second.
Councilman Hinton, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone from the public like to address just this ordinance? Please step up.
Oh,
It's just this ordinance.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing to say. Okay. Motion to close the meeting for public comments on ordinance 25-21.
So moved.
Councilman Cruz. Council President Polidori, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion to approve ordinance 25-21 for final adoption.
Motion.
Council President Polidori.
Second.
Councilwoman Kent. Roll call, please.
Councilman Hinton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kent,
Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori,
Yes.
Councilman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Bennett,
Yes.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
25-22.
Ordinance 25-22, an ordinance amending and supplementing the salary ranges of the employees of the Borough of Pompton Lakes in the County of Passaic and State of New Jersey.
Go ahead, you want a quick update on that?
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance just codifies the new salary range for the new position of confidential secretary for the borough, and just sets up a range for the future, should the candidate leave, what have you, just the best practice to do for every position that we have.
Motion to open the meeting for public comments on ordinance 25-22, just this ordinance.
So moved.
Councilman Cruz, Council President Polidori, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Anyone in the public like to address? Seeing no one, motion to close the meeting for public comments on ordinance 25-22.
Motion.
Councilman Bennett,
Motion.
Council President Polidori, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion to approve ordinance 25-22 for final adoption.
Motion.
Councilman Bennett,
Second.
Councilman Hinton, roll call, please.
Councilman Hinton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kent,
Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori,
Yes.
Councilman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Bennett,
Yes.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Okay. I first got to thank Kathy for stepping in with Liz, and we were all wishing Liz a quick recovery. Hopefully she'll be back soon. Kathy, I can tell you, and the office staff, the people in the office staff have really been stepping up to do the extra work that's been going on. We're down people and, meeting with the public and doing all the work that comes with the agendas and all the Oprah requests and all those things still have to be done. So thank you, Kathy, and everybody in the office. Please pass that on. Okay, under my report, I have a quick report. I could not attend National Night Out, but I understand it was a big success. But what I think people forget about National Night Out is that's put on by our police department and all our employees of the town. They're the ones working all the stands. Nobody's getting paid to be part of that event. They're all out there on their own time to come out and do what they have to do. So, that's what makes that event special. The police get to talk to the people in the community a little bit. The employees get to see the residents outside of the offices they work in. So it's just a nice event, and I got to thank all the donations that we got for all the businesses in town donated most of the food for what we do. So it's just a nice event to have. I attended a grand opening of Passaic County's care facility. They opened up a new care facility in downtown on Wanacue Avenue. Good luck to them. It was well received, and there was a lot of people there. I did a couple weddings. I had a couple meetings with our administrator. I attended summer camp and spoke with the kids in summer camp from kindergarten to 5th and 6th grade. The kindergartners, I don't think really cared about me or cared about anything I was talking about, but they got a nice button and they liked that. So, but as the older kids got in there, they really had some great questions. They really take care in the community they live in, and that's nice to see. They understand things, and they start saying things like, well, I see a lot of garbage at the tennis courts. Who's cleaning that up or picking that up? That's nice for a 5th grader or a 6th grader to see and be responsible for. So, kudos to them. I got to thank everybody at the summer camp. We have a great team of counselors there that are all kids from town, great leaders there. We get some hot days during that summer camp where the kids are out there, and I got no complaints and nobody filing concerns that it was too hot or they were bored or kids were running around too much. So it's a lot of work for a month, but I thank everybody for putting the time in to do that. And that is my report. Council President Polidori.
Thank you. I also attended National Night Out. The weather was perfect. It was a beautiful, well-attended evening, so thank you to our police department and all of the other organizations that make that possible. I helped serve at the most recent Pompton Reform Community Dinner. It's a wonderful thing they do there. It was very well attended, and I want to thank the church for everything they do for our community. Also with the church, along with our local Boy Scout troop, we had this past weekend the Build Day. So I'm not sure if you saw on social media the past couple months, we had been collecting funds to build permanent planter boxes for the front porch of the church so that we could build a community garden for food to be grown and repurposed back into the free community dinner and the members of the church. So the Boy Scouts were able to get some community service hours for that. Temporary boxes were donated for this season. Next year, the plantings will be permanent on the front porch. It was amazing. Thank you to the children and the Scout leaders that made that possible. I also attended the Passaic County Cares grand opening. I would like to thank Dr. P. and our coalition coordinator, Ryan Gossiker, for the work that they plan on doing along with Passaic County Cares. Also with the coalition, our coordinator attended CADCA training, mid-year training, as part of the requirement for the grant, and also had a very well-attended table at National Night Out. So we do thank them for their continued efforts with the youth in the community. I did meet with Bob McGrady of our VFW to go over some specifics for the finalization of the application for next year's veterans flags along downtown. So I have provided that information to our borough administrator. Hopefully the application will be finalized and up so that we can start taking indications of interest for next year's flags. I also provided the borough administrator with all of the posters. I'm not sure if Councilwoman Kent had a chance to see them yet, for both schools that participated in the Name the Frog playground equipment at, is it a frog or a turtle this time? It's a turtle. Turtle. Name the turtle at the new playground. So I believe the meeting is this week, and the Open Space Committee will be voting on the 2 winners, 1 from each school. The name for the turtle will be revealed at a ribbon cutting ceremony to be held in September after the children go back to school for the school year. Dawes Highway looks great. I just want to make mention to the fact that, as previously discussed, we talked about the striping. Unfortunately, just to close the loop on this, there was a little bit of misinformation. Am I correct that it is because of the width of the street that we're not able to put back double striping? I think we thought originally we were going to double stripe the road. I had a couple residents ask. So because it's not wide enough for parking on both sides, we're not able to double stripe it?
That's correct. We actually went back and looked at historical aerials of Dawes Highway, and it looked like about 21 to 22 years ago it was striped at some point with a double yellow or single yellow line. Why it's not being recommended this time, number one, the traffic code has changed in the past 20 years. And number two, the minimum width of the road recommendation by the federal code is 11 feet. And with parking on both sides of Dawes Highway and the travel lane, you're going to see motorists encroaching into the next lane and going over the single or double yellow line. So I think the recommendation from the police and from our engineer was that if we were to consider that at some point in the very near future, that we would have to prohibit parking on either one or both sides of the road. And I don't know that there's an appetite for that.
No, it seems like
No.
it's better to not have the double striping. So the road looks beautiful, and they do have new bicycle safety lane striping, so hopefully that helps control speeding a little bit. I'm also looking forward to Pompton Day, which is coming up. That will take place before we meet again. That's always a widely celebrated event in town. We have beautiful fireworks, and I think I'm in the dunk tank again this year, so please stop by the dunk tank booth. And lastly, happy birthday to Kathy Trost, which recently passed. Thank you, and that's my report.
Thank you. Councilman Quinn.
Thank you. I attended the Passaic County Care opening, a very nice event. Also National Night Out. My daughters loved it. They had a great time. They fell asleep very quickly that evening. In addition, I have a few announcements from Rec. Pompton Day, as stated just recently. Friday the 22nd, Summer Fiesta Latina at La Familia, $15 at the John Hand Tri-County VFW. This Saturday, bid bucks are on sale, no cash, check only. $100 will equal $150. Pompton Lakes High School parking lot for that. PLRYO field hockey registration is open. Pompton Lakes High School Career Day, if you'd like to talk to the students about your career and their interest in it, you can contact Karen Hennessy. And last but not least, Pompton Lakes Rec raffle tickets will be sold over the next few weeks. They will be available at the Bid Summer Concert, the Senior Picnic, ShopRite in Wayne, Tuesday and Thursday, 5 to 8 p.m., and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., or contact any rec commissioner or Pompton Day committee member. And thank you.
You brought up a good point that the senior picnic is this Saturday, 12 o'clock at the Elks. You have to be a senior. I don't know what that actually means, what that age is, but was it 62, 65?
55 and older.
Oh, why are you looking at me?
You're eligible.
Okay. 55 and older, you can come in and get a nice lunch, you're a nice band. We'll be there at 12 o'clock at the Elks Lodge. Councilman Bennett.
Thank you, Mayor. This past Sunday, we had Trails Maintenance. Thank you to all the volunteers, including Councilman Hinton. This borough runs on volunteers, so if you have a weed whacker, you have some time, we would love to see you out there. Historic Commission met, and we discussed the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States in 2026. Does anybody know what the term is? For the 250th anniversary?
No,
it's a very long word.
I have no idea.
It's called the Semi-Quincentennial, and it's coming up on July 4th, 2026. They are looking to pass a resolution to formally recognize significance. So again, look out for a resolution coming up. Dawes Highway does look amazing. Thank you very much to Administrator Corelli and everyone involved. National Night Out, successful. Thank you to all involved. We had I believe it was a transformer fire one night this week, and I want to thank the fire department and all the surrounding agencies who were involved in covering while we were handling that. That is my report, Mayor.
And thank you for mentioning that. You know, that fire happened at 3:30 in the morning. So, you know, when we, again, look at our volunteers, these volunteers have to get up and go to work on that next day, but they show up, they come to the fire, they fight it until it's put out, and then they go back home, try to get some sleep, and go back to work the next day. So this is what our volunteers do in this town. So it's an impressive thing. And you don't think about it because everybody hears the siren go off and they don't worry about it. That siren is saving somebody's life when it goes off. So it's important. Councilman Cruz.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any official updates for everybody, but if you haven't noticed, Lakeside at Lakeside Middle School, obviously you see the bleachers on the turf field that they're putting in. They're doing a lot of work, obviously, to get it done, the vestibules in particular, and you can see here at Lennox as well. So hopefully everything will be done, but I can tell you right now, the bleachers look amazing. It's long overdue. I'd like to thank the Pompton Lakes Police Department for posting information on the New Jersey Electric Bike Law. They posted that on Facebook. I know we've all seen the kids on the sidewalks, adults on the sidewalks riding them. So it's good information that was out there, was shared a lot. So hopefully, the parents will speak to their kids about this. And obviously, we've seen a lot with no helmets as well. And that's a big problem in town. National Night Out was amazing. You did attend. The weather was great. But the best part was the robotics team, as they were going around handing out candy with the robotic arm as they were driving around. So I'm a Jolly Ranchers guy, and I had plenty that night. So I just want to thank the robotics team. And obviously everybody else, the weather was fantastic. And that'll do for my report, man.
So let me ask you, are they going to be working throughout the year on all the school festivals?
The things that they're able to work on throughout the year is mostly going to be on the surrounding building itself, nothing exterior, so to speak. The cameras are done. The vegetables will be done, the bleachers are done.
They'll be done by school?
They're supposed to be done as close to getting it done now. I'm not aware of any delays, but they haven't had any board meetings yet. The next one is going to be next Tuesday, by the way, is the Board of Education meeting. If you're interested to see how they're progressing with the referendum, which covers all the work that they're doing right now throughout all the schools. It'll be next Tuesday at 7:30, and I'll have more information for our next council meeting on that.
All right, great, thank you. Councilman Hinton?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the MUA meeting, and things are just going right along smooth. Water's still good. Went to National Night Out, and then ran across the resident that asked me that he had brown water. So I looked through the crowd and saw Mr. Kent, and I sent that man right over to talk to him, and they had a nice discussion.
And he thanks you for that, Bob.
Then I had a Buildings and Grounds meeting, discussing the renovations in the front of the municipal building. Mayor couldn't make it. God bless your mother. And that came out pretty well.
Looks good right now, but it's going to get better, right?
It's going to get better, yes. The PBA was there, 2 representatives from the police were there. They're going to move the monument from First Aid Squad, because that's really a police monument there. And they're going to move it up here. They're going to get a new stone, a new plaque, and put on other officers that have since passed. So, and then they're going to kind of turn that monument area over to First Aid Squad, whatever they want to do with it, or whatever the town feels that really needs to be done there, so.
And I don't know if you heard, we do have funding, so we're going to fund it both sides.
Good. Well, the PBA is going to fund this.
Well, some of that work, but the actual groundwork and stuff, there was question at that meeting,
Right.
that we have funding for both sides. There is enough funding for both.
All right, good. Also, I went to the Trail Committee meeting, cleanup down at the south end of town, and the volunteers are great. I just lost it. Geez, these technology things here, you help me out. Do you know anything about tech? But we have a Eagle Scout who's going to build another kiosk down here. And I made it just barely out of Cub Scouts, and I give you a lot of credit, Mr. Mayor, for going all the way to Eagle Scout. And these kids are really doing a lot. And so I just lost it. The kid's name, I don't know, Eck, if you know his name.
The second one being done?
Yeah. But they're going to do another kiosk, and they should be done by this fall. So that was pretty good.
And we get a lot of work from those Eagle Scouts. They really do a lot of improvements.
Yeah, they do a heck of a job.
They do.
Got to give them a lot of credit. Of course, the senior luncheon you mentioned already. While I was at the National Night Out, I had a woman come up and ask me about Skylar Ave and Colfax coming from DuPont. Hedges were high, and I passed that on to the police department, who passed it on to maintenance, so we're going to try to get that addressed. I had an issue on Montclair Ave, people parking to the corner on Broad Street. I brought that up to the police department. They were right on it, so I want to thank them. They painted the curb yellow for the 25 feet.
Okay.
It's 50 feet, no park in front of the stop sign, but the opposite side is 25 feet from the corner. So I got to give them credit for that. We brought up for open space the last time, 100 Broad Street at the last meeting. That piece of property there. I was wondering if there was any.
There'll be a meeting soon, I think. Is that correct?
Yes.
Maria? I think she's going to mention it.
Yeah.
There'll be a meeting soon about it.
Okay. Harrelson Place. Oh, did I mention that before? Yes. There was a planting done on Haraldson Place in River End. And Bolzer Landscape put that in for us. But after they were done with their commitment, nobody did, I mean, the trail committee, I gotta give them so much credit for what they take care of, Warren Bennon and Councilman Bennon. But nobody's taking care of this. The fence all fell down, the deer are in there eating everything. Water bags on the trees.
You're DPW, right?
Yes.
Could you bring that up to, make sure it's on the list, and Michael too, make sure it's on our list for the town?
Randy, what street were you talking about?
Excuse me?
What street?
Haraldson Place.
Haraldson
That
and River
strip?
End, yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah.
I had brought up about Jobs for Blue the last time. Chief in charge, Rodriguez was here and he kind of explained that. Has there been any input as far as maybe finding a cheaper alternative?
We're still looking at that. The officer in charge has been out for the past week, but I'll follow up on that.
Okay, thank you. And one thing I'm going to ask you a favor, Mr. Mayor, if you could help me out. Can we look at the ordinance committee, look at the ordinance for fencing on private residences, the height of the fence in the back of the properties?
Well, the register, the way it reads is if it's not on a cul-de-sac, you can have a 6-foot fence. If you're on a cul-de-sac, you can't, unless your grandfather did.
Can we look at that ordinance
And change it?
And change it to raise the fence? Because the deer wiped out my Swiss chard and ate my eggplants. Now, I'm not happy. So we need to look at this because the deer population.
We can ask the ordinance committee to look at it, yes.
And the geese population.
Well, the geese don't eat my tomatoes.
No, but they could.
Okay. So if we could just look at that,
Yes.
I would appreciate it.
And I will tell you, I've had conversations myself with the building department to say, we need to revisit that because there are certain instances where that you do need it for sight view and it does block sight corners. But then you have other instances where there is no neighbors in the back, so then it doesn't really affect the view. So that's something I have actually mentioned.
Well, I'm not talking a solid fence up with a lot of deer-proof fencing. It's see-through.
Yeah.
But it's 12 foot high. And I think the ordinance is not that high.
No, you can't have 12 foot.
I mean, if we can go 10 foot
That's a
high.
big one.
You like a moat also?
A moat, well, a moat would be nice, but they know how to swim.
I will pass Bobby's ordinance, right? Okay, so he heard you.
I got you.
Okay. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Kent, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank the police for the National Night Out event. The food was great, the refreshments were wonderful, and the handouts for the children and the adults were very informative. And I brought a couple coloring books home for my grandchildren, and they loved them when they came to visit, and they had crayons with it. So that was very generous, I think. One of the things that I enjoyed the most was have a cup of coffee with the police officer. I thought that is a great idea, and it does show community involvement and interaction with the residents and the police officers. Growing up, for me, police officers were kind of scary, but I think that kind of engagement with the community is very important, and I think that's why we have such a good police department. I am a CERT member, and I did attend. At 9 o'clock, I got a phone call on Sunday morning. They said, can you come and help us? And I said, how's 15 minutes? And, there's a number of us, I want to say maybe 20, 25 CERT volunteers, just from, general joining the club, or joining the organization. They were all there waiting to be assigned to find this young boy. So it was amazing to see all the different colored shirts from West Milford, the search and rescue people. Our team is green, obviously, and the sheriff's department. So I want to thank everyone who was involved with that. Our OEM, Al Evangelista, was there, and Al is in charge of the CERT, as well as Deborah Ross. So it was really a very moving thing when he finally got found. That's a big deal, and so I thank God for that. I also want to say that our DPW was also called in because they provided fuel for the ATVs and some of the trucks. So it really is a community involved. And the DPW guys came out of, they're not on Sunday, and they were there Saturday night and Sunday. So I want to thank our DPW staff for their time and for their service. Okay, but sir, in general, because I'm assuming because of the calls that were made, CERT updated all their phone lists. So we all got phone calls, and we made sure that all the phones worked. So that was a nice way to turn something that actually happened into a training exercise, and I believe everything went well. A couple weeks ago in July, and maybe you discussed this, I don't know, but we did get a letter from the borough regarding your stormwater permit and what you need to do to keep that. I don't know if you mentioned that.
We did.
Oh, you did?
We did.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. I just want to say that I thought this was a very good letter. It talks about, don't dispose your pet waste. Don't put your grass clippings in the street or in a floodway or, near a in a riverbank. You can't do that because, number one, it pollutes the area, and you certainly don't want dog droppings in your storm drains. That's not healthy. And it also, the town can get fined because they would violate their stormwater management permit. So we want the water to stay clean. That's very important, and it does reflect on each and every one of us in this town. So we did get a letter from that. If you didn't see it, I assume it's on, Kathy, I'm assuming it's online. But take a look at that. That's what that meant. That's what that meant. And thank you for putting that. I was very informative. I also met with Councilman Hinton with the Pompton Lakes PBA, and on the monument, it's going to be, it started out to be just a landscaping project, and now it's turning out to be a really nice memorial project for the police, and the World War I monument that nobody even knew was there until somebody complained and said, these bushes are just, they're just blocking all the things that are very sacred to us. So that turned into a very good program, and I'm glad to hear that we have the money to do it. Thank you, Michael, for finding the funding to do that this year. We didn't think we had that. I'm going to meet with the playground vendor, hopefully next week. We're going to put in jungle gym equipment. That was the one thing that we're getting a lot of requests for, so we are going to do that. And that, I believe, will be paid for by the open space, out of the open space funding, as it was prior. And the Broad Street property, I just want to kind of keep that low key, because I don't want somebody to come in there and buying that from us. So, but it's a big piece of parcel, it's a big parcel that is not in a flood area. So that is something that the borough is definitely looking to see what kind of, I guess, deal we can have. And there are certain things we have to do before that, appraisals and looking at the assessment of the land, but it's nice. So we're just going to see how that works. I signed the bills, and they are a lot of money, and this equipment is expensive, so, but they have to get paid. And I attended the Shade Tree Commission meeting this past Monday. They had a planting in honorarium for Councilman Randy Hinton, because Randy was on the Shade Tree Commission for 16 years. And we had a beautiful tree planting by Mr. Serbo of Serbo Landscape. He had a lot of nice words said about him on all the work that you did in our shade tree program and our community forest. So Randy, congratulations. That doesn't happen to too many people, but that was very nice. And our chairwoman, Ann Tassinelli, gave a very nice speech, and then the council presented you with a certificate.
Yes,
and that had to be mentioned tonight. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And there was a video that was done by Maddie Dente's son. It's absolutely amazing, and he put pictures in, so very, very nice. And that is on our borough website. I am very concerned. Oh, before I say that, I'm very concerned about the DuPont issue. That is key. This governing body, our voices, our people need to be a part of that solution. We need to be named in that and receive the funding. And the fact that we're not is mind-boggling. We've had 10 years of, 15.
If you told it.
Yeah, it is a long time, and, and I know, Mayor, that you fought that battle, and, but it can't go by, it cannot go by the wayside. And I'll just keep bringing that up until we get something. And that's what we have to do, and I want to thank you very much for your presentation. And, we were, somehow or other, this company called worldatlas.com thinks that we are one of the best places to retire to. I agreed with him, and one or two people argued with me, but I'm going to hold my ground. This is one of the prettiest towns. We have wonderful residents, beautiful manicured properties, and we have access to hospitals and shopping centers. And it's really, at this point, I need a hospital when I need a hospital. But I do agree with that. And you know what? I'm retired here. I'm happy with that. The only thing I would say about the $138,000, Michael, that you said that we found in the Willowfield project. I mean, we may have to take some money out to maintain these 100 and some trees that we're going to be planting, because we have to also worry about deer, deer destruction for those trees, and they're really small. They're not like the nice big trees that are there now. So I think we might be looking at spending some money on that instead of a playground, which breaks my heart. We're not going to get the playground, but we do need to maintain those trees in order to maintain the flooding. And I do want to thank Mrs. Venon and all of the commissioners from the flood board, because I can tell you that there is a new change in flood insurance rates. There is a change in the whole FEMA program, and those individuals that are on that board take that very seriously, and they tell us what we need to do in order, and they tell, the residents what they need to do. And we have, 200 or 300 people in that flood area, so it's a very important board. And we need to make sure that we stay on top of that, because it's going to all change again. All right. So I just wanted to make sure that we can do whatever we can do. And the flags on Colfax Avenue. Oh my God, I get so many complaints on that. Mayor, I don't know what we're going to do, but if we cannot fly a flag without it getting tripped up in some splintered old pole or into some, old, nail or whatever, we can't put the flag there. Evidently, it's a big problem.
Yeah, we don't own the poles though, so we can't address the poles.
No, but maybe we can't fly a flag and then get slammed for not flying the flag properly. So I think we have to revisit that. And I know that our DPW, they do get calls, and they do go out and they have some big long stick and they untangle it, and then the next hour it gets back tangled up again, especially in a windy day. So, and we had a number of calls on that, and I think we have to revisit the flag situation. And if it's on a bad pole, and we're not like down the shore where they have all those big beautiful poles that are brand new. These poles are old, and they're splintered, they're breaking.
Can I just say?
No, you can't say anything. No, can't. Not from you. Sorry.
No, I just wanted to say.
When you come up and talk.
Several clips that the poles go in, and that's what they get caught on.
Right. Oh, yes.
When you come up and talk.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
He's in charge.
We need longer poles too.
We need different poles, or we need different flags, or we don't put them on the poles, because we shouldn't disrespect our flag. So that was my point. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The last thing I'll mention before I go to this is the 20th anniversary of Pompton Day. So we will be doing a special ceremony at opening ceremonies. I myself have been part of 18 of them. So there are people though we're bringing back people from 20 years ago that started the whole thing. So we'll be a little special this year. We do have a better fireworks display this year because of the 20-year anniversary. Professional report.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing this evening.
Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. The borough engineer and I met with Tilcon, this year's cooperative purchasing vendor for our road program. So again, we are resurfacing both Spruce Street and Laurel Avenue this year. We are finalizing the scope and are scheduling a start date for that soon. The good news is that because this vendor is on a co-op, we don't have to go out to bid. We don't have to advertise. It's a much shorter period of time that occurs for this. So again, that's on the horizon. The Lakeside Ave ADA curb ramp project was completed this week. The project, again, consisted of replacing all of the non-compliant ADA curb ramps from Colfax Ave to Jefferson Ave along Lakeside Ave. The project was funded by a grant from Passaic County, and we are looking to resurface Lakeside Ave in the near future. So it'll be a nice project when it's all completed. I just wanted to reiterate, again, Pompton Day is August 31st. Our office is working with the Recreation Commission. There's a lot of insurance requirements and vendor requirements that occur. We've been collecting vendor and sponsorship applications over the past few months, and everything seems to be going well, so we're looking forward to that.
And I think we're up to 210 vendors right now, so good numbers.
The borough is accepting public bids for the refurbishment of the Hirschfield Park Storage Shed building on September 4th at 11 o'clock here at the Borough Hall. So our architect has finalized the plans. We all met as a subcommittee, so we are looking forward to that project. Our architect is anticipating to facilitate that over the winter to not disrupt recreation and other programming throughout the summer months. The borough has received our NJ DEP permit for the replacement of the DuPont Place culvert. So again, this is a county borough project. We partnered with the county. We funded the permitting and design while the county is funding the construction of the project. And again, the county is in the process of putting together the bid specs, going out to bid, and securing funding for the project in the near future. I did meet with the DPW. We are in the process of finally getting quotes to re-side the Lakeside Park Boathouse, which will be a nice upgrade, and also to roof and repaint the gazebo. So we're looking to do that for next year, so that'll be a nice improvement for the area. Okay. Just wanted to recognize the police department and National Night Out. My 2-year-old son was in the bounce house while the power suddenly went out, and they went to go rescue him, so that was nice to see.
Oh my God.
And just wanted to recognize our tax assessor, Brian, who announced his retirement on October 1st. I just wanted to thank him for all his service to the borough. Thank you.
Where are we with the bridges? How are we doing with the Hirschfield Bridge? Do we get any update on that?
Yes, I did reach out to the county to get a tentative start date for the replacement of the Hirschfield Park pedestrian bridge. It was supposed to start on September 2nd, right after Pompton Day. I had jokes with our recreation director that the 5K would have been a biathlon. We'd have to swim across the pond. But the start date was pushed back, and it was pushed back even more because the county has found that there's a severely long lead time for the truss of the structure. So now we're looking at winter at this point. So we'll try to nail down a start date.
Okay. Any questions from the administrator?
Yeah, just one question, not related to his report. Did you get a chance to reach out to the EP or DEP regarding Rotary Park as far as the trimming?
Yeah, we talked about that with the borough engineer a little bit, and it really is advised against to do some severe trimming. We do some maintenance over there. We weed, we take out invasive species, but to completely trim back vegetation that was put in by the EPA, I think would be advised against.
Thank you. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. Workshop. Shared service.
Thank you, Mayor. So before you tonight is a draft shared services agreement with the Borough of Bloomingdale, going back on the mechanical services discussion with the DPW, Police Department, and Fire Department. So we're here tonight because, first of all, we have to adopt this amended shared services agreement. We are past due on this. Our services expired May 31st, so Bloomingdale is looking for an executed copy of this. And this agreement before you is for the Fire Department and the Police Department. They would like to continue the services with Bloomingdale. They are happy with Bloomingdale services, but as I mentioned in prior meetings, the DPW is looking to use a different vendor. And the DPW director and I were kind of talking. We talked to the borough attorney, and really we're looking for the DPW to just go month to month at this point. with our current provider, Hudson County Motors. Given it's under the bid threshold and all of the statutory requirements for purchasing, there's really no need for the governing body to intervene in some sort of month-to-month agreement. So I think the recommendation tonight is to just adopt the agreement with Bloomingdale. We're going to use our other vendor for the DPW for the rest of the year. And then I did talk to the DPW director, and we're looking to come in maybe in October and do a nice presentation for next year's contract so we can establish a full contract for the full year. We felt that because we're almost in September, it kind of is too late to have this grand presentation for only 1 or 2 months for the rest of the year.
So what we're looking for now, just to reiterate what he said, the fire department and the police department are happy with the contract they have now. Okay, so they want to keep what we have. Go ahead.
And if I just may add, the fee for Bloomingdale for the rest of the year is $32,000, $16,000 payable on September 1st, and the remainder payable on December 1st. Our initial agreement that we adopted in January was for $112,000 for the year, so we are saving funds. And kind of doing a budgetary analysis with the DPW, our month-to-month costs are lower than what it would have been with Bloomingdale at this point. So we do feel that there will be a savings in the end, but that's kind of the recommendation that we have for tonight.
So is everybody okay with the recommendation? We'll start with the fire and police. That's who they want to use, and we're okay with that? Is everybody okay with that? Okay. And then the way he presented the DPW, they are going to readdress it, but it's no sense doing it now right at the end. So we'll just carry it through to the beginning of the year. In October, we'll meet again, and we'll discuss that again. And whatever the recommendations from the DPW are, then we'll kind of work with that. So you're basically saying?
And we are paying money to them. We are not collecting money, correct? Like the other shared service agreement
Correct.
that
This
we
is a
have.
fee that we pay. We
Right.
have paid Bloomingdale for years
It's okay.
to be our mechanic.
So in other
Just
words,
wanna
like
make sure.
when our plow truck drops now, we would have to send it out. Now we can bring it to Bloomingdale, maybe get it fixed in a day or two instead of waiting a week to go somewhere else with it.
Okay.
But that's something they're going to address about parts. The parts were the issue.
And is that the reason why the DPW wants to switch services? Is because the current, it's unreliable or costly, I guess, whatever?
Yeah, I think the DPW is looking for a vendor that will provide more maintenance specifically for the garbage trucks and for the salters. The company that we're using now comes in on a monthly or bi-weekly basis to service all of our trucks, where that hasn't been happening, and will not happen. So we're happy with this new arrangement, but we think to formalize it, we'll have a full discussion about it when the year is over.
And for DPWs, think there might be a savings switching?
There will be.
There will be?
There will be,
Awesome.
yeah, part one.
That's
And
fantastic.
doesn't this new company work on more stuff for the DPW, like their lawn mowers and other equipment like that, whereas Bloomingdale really didn't work on that?
Yes, and also specifically the snow plows, which is a major component for the DPW, so it definitely is a benefit for that.
All right, so we're good with that. You guys good with that? Okay. The next one?
Okay, the next topic is, at the last council meeting, the topic came up of our existing social media policy. I did write an email to the governing body just explaining what our policy is. We did have a discussion years ago when Dave was our attorney in 2021 about kind of amending our practices and having a sole individual handle all of our pages. At the time, we did have a public information officer, which is what that title does.
Which was Michael, by the way, before he was hired.
And I think that the intent and the discussion from the minutes back then was that, yes, we were going to have this new policy, whereas this individual would monitor all these pages. That policy was never codified, that is what we found. So I think we're here tonight, the borough attorney and I are seeking your opinions and your feedback on the policy. If any of you are looking for changes or amendments, we're here to answer any questions.
Well, I think, speaking from what we talked about before this, was we just wanted everything funneled through one system. So nobody was outlying on their own, just making decisions what to post. Doesn't mean we're going to say no to the post. We just need someone to kind of oversee the post to make sure it's correct and the information's right, and before it gets out. I mean, I think that was the goal at the time of why we did it. If someone has any ideas now, now's the time to bring it up.
Yeah, I think we should continue with that policy because you have situations where volunteers turn over. They come and they go. Now you have multiple admins, people taking people off of the administrative role, people adding people, people posting things that may or may not be accurate. I understand some of the organizations are not officially borough entities, but if you are posting something on behalf of the borough or something that represents the borough, it should be funneled through someone that is more than just a volunteer. And we should make sure, we should check for accuracy, and things happen. You know, someone gets angry with someone and then someone's removed, and that just simply cannot happen.
Yeah, what I would add is, you know, and that's a sound policy. And what we need to do is just codify the policy.
Right.
You know, come up with a policy that we're all comfortable with and that's doable, that we have, you know, an individual who's able to be that person. And once we understand how that's going to be, to codify it, to do an ordinance, so that there's clarity on that, and we can point to that and say, well, you know, this is the policy. This is what you need to conform to.
So perhaps it's just Michael, but not that it would add to your workload or be something that you would have to take on as a task, but that you would be made one of the admins, so that you have the ability to add or remove an admin as those volunteer seats turn over.
Right.
Nothing that it necessarily has to be nefarious, but a volunteer steps down, another one steps in. That needs to be changed, passwords get lost, but there should be one admin that can control the other admins, and then in the event that perhaps content gets shared that is inaccurate, you do have the ability, if needed, to remove it. Not that I want you to necessarily babysit every page, but you should have some type of administrative role on every page.
I think the first thing would be to put a list together, correct, right?
Absolutely.
We need to put a list together of which are actual town sponsored and which are just groups that we have no say on. So that would be the first thing we would have to do legally, right?
Yeah, that, and then who each of those organizations designates as their single person that's going to make changes.
Okay.
And
One,
that
correct?
person, one
Because some of
person.
these pages have like multiple admins.
Yeah, no,
One.
one person, because that's what we envision.
So Mike, how do you want to accomplish this? How do you want to do this? Because you're going to be the one putting this together.
I think the attorney and I will come up with a draft.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
a
come up
larger
with a draft.
conversation.
You know, and then I think we'll bring it back to the ordinance committee to look at, and then we'll ultimately bring it back to the governing
All
body.
right, so anybody's suggestions, send them to Mike in an email if you have suggestions about what you'd like to see in it, and then he'll incorporate it into the,
How do other towns handle this?
you know, it's an upcoming thing, some do, some don't.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Social media needs to be managed.
It's a
It
free
has
for
to be.
Are there some towns that do
There's a little
manage
bit
it?
of Dodge City involved.
I think what ends up happening here is that you're gonna have groups that are gonna post information, you know, which will be a snapshot of what the borough may say and maybe not as accurate. And I'll tell you right now, once you start going down that path, especially on Facebook, Facebook is a trigger for false information most of the times when it comes down to that. So it definitely needs to be managed, and whoever that is, I feel like also there needs a check. In the event they're gonna post something, they at the very least, a draft or a communication channel should go to whoever the admin is to review and approve it. I'm not saying that's you, Michael. By no means am I saying that. Because if you're gonna approve it or challenge it after the fact, it has already been shared, it has already been read, and everybody's gonna come up with their own opinion on what it's supposed to say or what it means. So in my personal opinion, if they're gonna draft something that's on behalf of the borough, they're gonna do something, whatever, there should be another set of eyes on that says this looks good, this is accurate, you may move forward and publish this on one of whatever borough Facebook groups or pages.
How many, excuse me, I'm sorry.
And the list is
I just-
required.
How many places can you post?
Everywhere. If they're linked to Instagram, you're getting it on 2 social medias right off the bat. Right off the bat, you're hitting 2 at the same time.
And once it's out, it's out.
It's out, it's out.
Should
So-
there be some restrictions on, say, content? So each group can post twice a week, but limited to upcoming events only, nothing that could be misconstrued as advice or guidance or policy. You know, like if Shade Tree has an event coming up, they're allowed to share a flyer, and then the next step after that would be commenting. Do we want the admin of that site going back and forth and commenting if someone posts something that is, you know, argumentative?
Yeah, I would say we turn comments off, that's just my personal.
You don't want to go down that road
Right.
of an admin arguing with, you know.
No. But I'm gonna let Michael put that together.
We'll get together, Mike.
Put it together,
We'll
and
get
then
together.
you'll work with the
Yeah,
attorney.
yep.
And then we'll go to the ordinance committee, and then we'll discuss it at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, good. Okay, Where am I? Motion to open the meeting for public comment.
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Bennett, Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Anyone from the public like to address? Please step up.
Helene Zablocki, 6 Butler Street. Mr. Sarah, when I ran out of time at the July meeting, you could have said, sorry, there are more people who want to speak. But that wouldn't have been true, because no one else was waiting. You could have said what Randy Hinton said, I could ask for more time. He said that, and I continued speaking, and you interrupted me again, and said I had to ask for the time. I did, and continued speaking, and you interrupted me for the 3rd time and said you had to take a vote. To have handled it differently, you would have had to have been respectful and willing to explain how a speaker could continue. But that's not you. At one of the first meetings I attended years ago, there was chaos as the meeting ended. It was about DuPont, and there were people from all areas of town. The chamber was filled, and I had no idea what the rules were. I didn't know what was going on. I stood and raised my hand, and you threatened to have me removed. You said something like that again last month. You may remember I emailed you the next day when I thought email addresses on the borough website meant something, and I told you I meant no disrespect. I follow rules. I like rules. But your first instinct is to bully and threaten. The chaotic confusion at the end of that very long meeting was a result of poor leadership and an inability to act professionally, and it hasn't changed. Will you be coming back into public session to take any action after a closed session meeting tonight?
Thank you. Anyone else from public? Please step up.
Mayor, Sierra, and council. As a
Name and address again.
My name again, Helen Martins, 59 White Way. As a resident of Pompton Lakes and dealing with this DuPont situation, this lawsuit that they filed against DuPont, I was under the impression that our site was the biggest site that there is in the New Jersey area. And I think all of us that live in this town and have dealt with DuPont feel like this site has to get cleaned up. It has to get cleaned up. It can't be covered up in lipstick on a pig, okay? Because we have sued, well, the state has sued them. Once this suit is over, they can't be sued again. So nothing else can be done. So this has to be done the right way this time. And the fact of the matter is, we still have, under all our homes, this pollution. And as far as I'm concerned about giving DuPont a pass on the taxes, you gotta be kidding. They got more money than any of us. They shouldn't. They polluted this property. They ruined the town. And I don't feel like they should get a break. And that's actually how I feel about this. I think we got this one-time shot, and we better get it all done. So I'm pleading, if there's any way that any of you can do anything to fight for us, we really need that. I really need that. And as far as the poles, there is 2 brackets plus the new one that they put, which also helps. And if the poles were either longer or up, I think that would eliminate some of the problem. But that's only my opinion.
Right.
And I think that's about it that I gotta say. I thank you for listening to me, but I really hope that you understand what we're saying. 15 years is a long time. Oh, and one other thing. You know, we're taking down a lot of trees that are old and they've been storm damaged. When I moved in Colfax and Wanacue Ave and all that, we had a lot of trees. It looked so beautiful. We don't have that many anymore. I think we need to start putting some back. It's my opinion. Thank you for listening.
Anyone else from the public like to address?
Yeah.
Good. I'll get you next up.
Okay. This is easy. Sandro Mancini, 40 Dorn Street. First problem I have here, when I come to these meetings, I can't hear you. Maybe it's because I'm getting old, but I see a speaker over here and I see a speaker over there. I'm sure you can hook it up somehow so we can hear you. Because some people talk loud, some don't. So I'm having a problem listening to that. The other thing that really gets me mad is that you're putting all these apartments up, which is gonna give you more taxes. And here I got a tax bill this year, and my taxes went up again. You know what? Why don't we put a freeze and give the people in this town a break 1 year? No taxes. I'm sure you're getting enough money there, and just cut your budget a little bit for 1 year. People would love that. I know I would.
On taxes?
I would love that. Freeze it for a year. Don't raise the taxes. You know, I made everybody here give up a week's pay. I'm not suggesting that, but I think they should try to work for the town people here, because there's a lot of seniors in here. I'm one of them now, you know. And the thing is that a lot of people on budgets and stuff like that, it makes it hard. I see a lot of people that don't have nothing. So I feel bad for them. I wish we could do something. And the other thing with the flags, I got a solution for that. Take them down, put starch on them, real lot of starch, so they don't wave. You put them up and they'll stay there. That's all I got to say. All right? A little humor in there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I saw another hand. Okay, you're good. I'll get you next.
The wife is here now. watching.
Dorothy Mancini, 40 Durham Street. You know, Ms. Kent, you were talking about that, about all the ordinance in town, about the dog and all that. Well, I noticed by Starbucks, their landscapers blow all that stuff in the sewers.
Oh, no.
And then my thing is, with all those ordinance, who's enforcing everything? Our street is the main thing. People walk their dogs, they throw the bags of poop all over. I mean, and actually on Facebook, I argued with one guy because he was saying about how he likes his dog to go on everybody's property, to travel. And my thing is, I used to have a dog, but I never let my dog go on everybody's property and where the flowers and stuff like that. But who enforces all that? If you see somebody and their dogs they're not picking up, they're throwing the bags, because I see that all on our block. How many times I've picked it up on our block? But that has to be, I mean, it's great to have all those ordinances, even like those motorbikes with the kids and stuff like that. Who's really enforcing all that? I see different, you know, kids doing different things, and I seen on Facebook people were saying how the kids were, you know, trying to go in between cars and stuff. All that has to be enforced. And, you know, the same way like our street, for example, we have they were supposed to replace the sign on one of the parkways that says one way. Well, guess what? It never got replaced yet. But we have people that go down the wrong side. Now, my thing is, if you're in an accident, who's responsible? But that's not enforced either. And years ago, I remember commercial vehicles were never allowed on the street. That's not enforced in this town anymore either. So, I mean, it's great to have all these rules and regulations, but you gotta enforce them. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Al, I saw your hand, right?
Thank you. Al Evangelista, Ringwood Court, Pompton Lakes. Just to quickly comment on the DuPont settlement. The articles I've read specifically mention four sites in the state that they won the lawsuit on, and Pompton Lakes was mentioned. Now, some people have come to me and said, well, you know, Pompton Lakes wasn't PFAS. No, it was a hazardous chemical, okay, much worse hazardous chemicals, lead, mercury, lead azide, and other substances that they dumped, okay, into the world. So we should have a piece of that pie, in my opinion, and it's up to us, and I hope this council has already addressed our legislators and told them that we want to be a player at the table, we want to know what our piece of the pie is going to be, and we want to suggest the way we want that site cleaned up. Not the federal government, not the DEP, we want that site cleaned up so that we can use it, and we can regain the taxes that we're losing on those 600 acres of property that sits up there. Second thing, social media. You're going to debate this till the end of time. There's never going to be a situation that's the same. And I'll give you an example. For emergency management, there are times that I put out, immediately, when I know about an event, I put out a press release or a post on social media. That's the great thing about it. By mentioning everything you mentioned here tonight, with approvals by this guy, approvals by that guy, that's time consuming. It's just putting redundancy on a situation for things that you don't have to. You have to have trust in the people that are posting it. Now, we had a site in the fire department, which I was removed from, which was a retaliatory move, because I refused to have someone else approve what I was going to post. The other gentleman, you know him well, he's a former councilman that posts on that site. It's just two people, okay, in case one is incapacitated, the other two, you know, the other person could post. We've been doing that for, we estimated between 12 and 15 years we've been running that site. Has nothing to do with the agency that's a borough entity. Nothing. It bears the initials, but has nothing to do with it. But rather than create a brouhaha about it, I just let it go. But I'll tell you what, if you do propose a social media policy, invite and involve the agencies that are going to be affected by it. Get their input. No one situation is exactly the same. We don't have a week to come up with a post in emergencies. We have to post immediately. The fire the other night, they posted the next day about it. So people are asking, what happened? Why was the siren blown at night? They're not supposed to blow at night. All these things come into play. The good part about social media, if there is a good part, is that it quells all of the rumors. It quells all the misinformation if they know it's coming from a definite site, an adequate site. And here's the other stuff that I was prompted by Mr. Cruz, Councilman Cruz. I appreciate your reports from the Board of Education. You may please, when they were putting up the referendum, Superintendent did a beautiful thing on social media, by the way, about the impending referendum and how they needed the support. The support from this town, I believe, was overwhelming, correct? I think it's time that the superintendent, and I can speak to him personally, I've known him well for years, we've got a good relationship, he should put out another post like he did, imploring people to vote for the referendum. Give them an update now at the late date of August, the middle of August, and say, here's where we are, thank you for your money, because the biggest part of my tax bill, and everybody else's, thank you for your money, here's the progress we've made since we began this program when the townspeople approved it. That's what I would suggest. Let them put a blip out there, the people are going to love it. Trust me, they'll love it. Because you don't take their money and then forget about them. And that's what they're going to think happened. All right, a couple other things that I know I'm under the clock here. I was going to make a comment. We're seeing some graffiti around the town. I'm most concerned about the graffiti at the Pompton Dam. They graffitied the pipe, they graffitied the building. I noticed that one night. I went down there and I looked, and I reported this to police. I went down and looked, and they're climbing over the barbed wire. The barbed wire is actually damaged. I emailed the North Jersey security. I put them on alert. I went down the other night, late at night after dark, and every light around those buildings is out. Okay, it's either burned out or they're not working for some reason. So I did notify him about that. But that is that's an issue. We had an issue that night with we had a power glitch. Might have been related to the fire. But people called me the next day and said, why did the siren for the dam go off overnight at 3 around the same time? Okay, so, this is the importance of social media. The last one I have here is the MUA. You're following what's going on in Patterson, okay? You see what one 30-inch pipe break can do to a city of 300,000 people. Right now, there's a tanker strike force in Patterson from Ocean County, New Jersey. That's the organizational aspects that we have in the state as far as responses. Ocean County has tankers sitting in Patterson, New Jersey, today and tonight. And that's amazing that you would ever think that that could happen, but it can. Our MUA, and I've checked with them every year, I check with them, and very close contact with the superintendent down here and so forth. Our MUA has a lot of contingencies built in. I will explain that at a later date, maybe on social media, so the town's aware of the preparedness of our MUA, which supplies potable drinking water to this town, okay, of 11,000 some odd people. So they're doing a great job. Everybody's doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
For your time.
Anyone else from the public like to address? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the public session?
Motion.
Councilman Denon, Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Mrs. Walkie, thank you for your comments. Yes, we will be coming out of closed session to just tell you what we discussed in closed session. It'll be a brief statement.
But no formal action.
No formal action will be taken. Okay. I will group all the DuPont stuff together. You know, look, I've been doing this a long time. You guys all know I've been doing this a long time. I can speak up all I want. The EPA and the DEP are in charge of this site, okay? I have no control. No one on this council has any control of that site. We can give them suggestions. We can say we want this. We can say a lot of things. But at the end of the day, they don't really listen. We've learned that. I am still going to fight to try to get some of that funding back. And we actually, if the people in this room remember, made a list years ago of how we wanted to spend that money. And we had about 10 or 15 points on there that we were hoping they were going to pull one or two of the points out and say, okay, we might put some money towards whatever we had on the list at the time. I don't see that happening, but I will suggest that all the people that are involved, concerned about how that money's spent is write to all your local politicians and higher politicians up to the governor's office saying, we want some of that money spent here in Pompton Lakes. You know, I believe that that should be the process. When someone mentioned that there is 4 sites, I think Mr. Evangelista talked about it, we are one of the 4 sites that was mentioned. They did not break up the money on how it's spent in the 4 sites, so I can't tell you how that money's going to be broken up. There will be more information, I'm assuming, coming. At one point, I will probably have a meeting with DuPont and Perry, which you guys know, from the EPA to find out more information. So I'll keep you posted when I find out things. There's not much I know right now except the article, and it's sometimes hard to believe the articles. Property taxes. I think we do a very good job. We're only in charge of 19% of your tax dollar. 19% of every dollar is only this town is involved with. We do a very good job in rising costs between health benefits and retirement costs from the state to keep it equal. I don't like to throw anybody under the bus, but the school is in charge of almost 60% of your tax dollars, and we have a great school system, outstanding, but we pay for that, okay? And then the other 20 or so percent is the county. So that's how the tax dollars are broken out. We can't just give tax breaks to residents where they live. That's illegal in the state of New Jersey. You can't just say you have a tax break. I know someone brought up the DuPont tax break. They're not getting a tax break. They've been paying the wrong taxes for many, many years and finally have come to us and said, corporate has said, we can't keep paying this number. That's not the right number. So they can appeal their taxes, and if they appeal their taxes, we would have to pay that new number all at once. Trying to work with us a little bit, they said, look, we understand that would be very difficult for your town to do because it would be a big hit. So we're willing to stage it in over a couple of years to make it work for your taxpayers. They, right or wrong, and I'm not going to say if it's right or wrong, the way they are listed, they don't have to be paid for the last 20 or so years. They don't have to pay it's not a working site anymore. So they're still paying like it's a working site. It's unfortunate, but they're not getting a tax break. They're just asking to pay the taxes they're supposed to pay. Al, brought up a lot of things. Social media, I'm thinking while we have these conversations, there probably will be some carve out for certain people to make certain.
There's going to be classifications.
Right, there'll be classifications on how that works.
Not a one-size-fits-all, but we have to address it.
Right, I agree with you.
It has to be addressed, Facebook.
The graffiti and the lights, I have, Michael, could you follow up with North Jersey? Because if it is dark there, you know, and I do see a little more graffiti in town, and somebody brought up about who's enforcing all these things. The police enforce anything on the streets. So anything that's going on in the streets, they are enforcing. So when they're driving around, they're supposed to figure out that's wrong, write it down. Anything on property is property maintenance, which we have a property maintenance officer. He's not full-time, he does not go around, driving around town all day looking for problems. If a neighbor says, look, that house is a mess over there, and he calls property maintenance will go over, take a look, speak to that resident, say, look, you have 30 days to clean up the site. If you don't clean up the site, you'll get a ticket, you'll start to get fined. If you find enough, you'll go to court. That happens quite often, and you'd be surprised how many people say, I know my property's a mess, I'm not cleaning it. Okay, it's just the way some people are. You know, Mike, can we look at the signage there? I know what they're talking about, you know, where we're talking about. There should be a one-way sign there. There definitely should be a one-way sign there. And there was at one point. I don't know what happened to it. Thank you for the comments about the MUA. You are correct. When you see what's going on in Patterson, I was just talking to the mayor over in Halden. It's a mess. It's a mess. You know, people, they brought 2 showers out in Halden for the whole town to shower in. Okay, nobody has running water. 2 portable showers they put in the parking lot somewhere. You know, and obviously people don't want to use those showers, so these people are not showering. I talked to a lady today who said I'm showering in my pool. So it's unfortunate. Our MUA is on top of things. I think, that, as I know and as you know, they have a lot of alternative plans, but we also have old piping. You know, the rumor going around from the mayor in Patterson is that he thinks the earthquake broke the pipe. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's not true, but that's what he's saying. The landscaping, yes, if that is happening, if anybody sees that, I would make a call to the police department right away and say, hey, look, we got a landscaper blowing everything into the street. That's illegal, and they're not allowed to do it. So that would be a police matter, and they would come right out and take care of that. Okay, I think that's everything. Motion, purge of the floor, I'm sorry, purge of the floor, anybody purge of the floor?
Yes, trails maintenance, the next one is September 13th to Saturday at 10 a.m.
Okay. Anybody else?
Also on trail maintenance, I was talking to Mrs. Venon, and listen, all the volunteers for trail maintenance, God bless them all. I mean, they're, especially in this heat. But she was talking, is there any way that possibly we could get landscape companies to volunteer to take sections of the trails?
So
they'd be so much more efficient. Just go in and...
We could try.
Is that a possibility?
I can tell you this,
Michael
and Councilman Bennett knows this, because I had this long discussion when they wanted to make this group put together. I said, guys, understand, you're taking this on, this is a big job, this is a lot of work.
Right.
The town is not gonna step in and help you with this, because we just can't do it. But if a landscaper wants to volunteer the time, I have no problem with that.
Right,
So
I mean, these are a lot of trails, like the Red Trail on the south end of town. I agree with you 100%, but we put in the Morris County Greenway Trail. And a lot of times that needs maintenance, and it was never agreed upon that the DPW was gonna take care of that. So that is a town project that was put in.
Well, it's something we can look at. Mike, maybe we can talk to some landscapers that come in? That's not a bad idea. We'll see if we can get that done.
So we'll see if we can address that.
Okay, anybody else?
I have a
Thank
question.
you.
Michael. So you mentioned when we were talking about the flags that they're not our flags. But now a couple of people mentioned that it's the flags getting caught up on brackets from previous hangings. Did we install those brackets? If we did, can't we uninstall what we installed that the flags are getting caught up on?
Yeah, I talked to Mickey of the DPW. I think that there's prior brackets that we used when we initially did this, and there's some older brackets from maybe some other activities
We
that
just take them
happened.
out?
Right, so I think we're looking at that, but I'll make sure that gets done soon.
Okay, and then as far as not being able to hear us, we have
Oh, I'm
one
sorry.
microphone, there's 2 down there. Randy, you're loud enough. Can we have one of your microphones?
Yeah, you need one?
But we all should, I'm sorry, I didn't bring it up. When we talk into our microphones, they work. If you talk back a little bit, they don't work so well. So we're working on that too. That's a big expense to redo this, but we are looking into that.
Hook up the speakers.
They are actually, believe it or
Want me
not.
to come and do it? I'll do it for you.
Okay. Motion to adjourn to closed session.
Motion.
Council, who was that? Councilman Cruz? And who was down here? Council
Oh, wait,
President
it's not the
Polidori.
flags.
Thank you, everyone.
That's an excellent idea.
Hey, you start your college.
To discuss negotiation, personnel, and litigation. Motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
Council
Whatever,
President
sorry,
Pulveri.
later, aye.
That